Friday. Thank you so much for joining us on a beautiful morning here from Pier 17 in New York City. I'm Ryan Smith in for Greeny, and we have got a jam-packed show for you today. And take a look who we've got with us to break it all down. We got Graz, Jeff Saturday, Bart Scott, chomping at the bit, waiting to talk some football. The gang is all here, so let's go. But first, I want to start you out in the NBA because what a game it was last night. The Lakers, man, they are on the ropes. Let's go to the highlight. Anthony Davis and the Lakers taking on the Clippers. And I'll tell you, Anthony Davis, the injury bug started early, just over 3 minutes into the game. Davis misses that jumper, and then watch him. Falls to the court. Trips over the video board right there. Now you watch it again. Shoots the airball three right there, but then trips, falls, doesn't see the board. He finished 2 of 9 in the first quarter in the first 9 minutes. Didn't return for the rest of the game. Lakers called it back spasm. Just over 2 minutes left in the half. Clippers up by 21. Paul George nailing it right there for the corner three. Ballmer fired up. George had 24. And then under 4 minutes left in the third. Kawhi dominating, coming up with that loose ball. He had 15. Clippers blow out the Lakers 118-94. Here's AD after the game.
I know the spirit in the locker room is still high. I mean, guys came in after the game and said, put it behind us. We got enough of the ball. So guys are still great with their minds and their spirit about, the rest of the season. And obviously, we're fighting for playoffs. And tomorrow's probably the biggest game after these games. So, guys are still optimistic and we're still fighting. And guys' spirits are still high.
Okay, so the spirits are high, but are this team's playoff hopes? Starting tonight on ESPN against Portland, the Lakers have 6 games remaining on their schedule. They're favored in 4 of those 6 contests, but they only have a 56% chance to earn a top 6 spot in order to avoid the play-in tournament. Jay Will's with us now to talk about Laker troubles. Okay, so Jay Will, LeBron is banged up. Now Anthony Davis is banged up. On a scale of 1 to 10, in terms of really contending to win the championship, are you worried about the Lakers?
10.
Whew.
It's 10. And that's the reality of where we are. Truncated season. People thought LeBron James was going to load manage. Hasn't load managed. Now dealing with the high ankle sprain. That doesn't go away, man. You deal with that for the rest of the season. That only heals in the offseason after having multiple months to go to therapy for that. AD banged up. How is he going to handle? By the way, he still had that Achilles injury he came back with. Dennis Schroeder out for 10 to 14 days. 10 to 14 days for a guy that is probably your 3rd leading scorer on this team. So, yes, you're worried about them. A big-time game tonight against the Portland Trail Blazers. They could be in that play-in scenario. They will be in that play-in scenario. And in your first round, you're telling me you have to go against the Utah Jazz or the Phoenix Suns? I know those teams don't want to see the Lakers, but those teams at full health going against the injury-prone Lakers, they're going to smell blood in the water, and they're going to have home court advantage.
Now, if I told you both LeBron and AD would be close to 100%, what would that mean come playoff time? Would they still be your favorite to come out of the West?
Yes. If you're telling me that LeBron is trending at 80% and AD at 90%, they would still be my favorite. Because at the end of the day, LeBron James is the maestro that makes everything happen. He unlocks everybody on this team. We talk about greatness. Last year, he used the hashtag #WashKing to stay motivated. He's been out. Look, he's been out for a month. He needs to be out. He needs to rest. But him coming back on an ankle sprain, high ankle sprain, if he's able to go through the Western Conference and then say he meets the Brooklyn Nets in the World Championship, if he were to go through the Western Conference, then Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, like that catapults him into a different conversation. It does. He would have gone through the Golden State Warriors and the Brooklyn Nets. I don't think any other player in the history of the game have gone through that loaded of teams.
And to win in a situation like that with what you're talking about,
truncated season,
possibly with that ankle sprain lingering into the playoffs, we'll see. Okay, so given LeBron's age, all the wear and tear that he's been through, how worried are you at him getting another crack at the championship?
I'm always worried about LeBron James, but I'm not betting against him. I've said this before. Look, people can say whatever they want to say about me and LeBron James because I've made statements about, back in the day, comparing him a little bit to Scottie Pippen, just mentality-wise, before he became more Michael Jordan, a leader, right? Even if it was like, hey, Michael Jordan would never say things like, I'll never be 100% in my career. That's fine. You can come at me with all that. I'm not betting against this dude. This dude is unique. He is one of one. He is different. If there's anybody that can come back off a high ankle sprain and play through a truncated season and still win a world championship, it is number 23. And that's not MJ, that's LeBron James.
Wow.
He's built for it.
I got to tell you, let's put it in context, by the way. The stakes high for this game against the Blazers. If they lose that game, the world champs would, at this moment, end up in the play-in tournament. Imagine that. Jay Will.
Score, 118-94. The Lakers fall to 37 and 29. Paul George with 24, Kawhi 15, Ivica Zubac's 14. Kyle Kuzma leads the way with 25. Anthony Davis played just 9 minutes before suffering that injury. He's speaking with Mike in the media. Good.
Anthony, we saw what looks like an ankle tweak early in the game, and then you stayed in for another 5 minutes. And we got the diagnosis as back spasms. Just wondered if you could take us through what happened and how you feel now.
Yeah, the ankle was fine. Tweaked it, but it wasn't bothering me. The back locked up pretty bad, so that's it. Couldn't really move. Feels a little better now, and see how it is tomorrow.
So test it out when you wake up and you kind of determine your status for the Portland game tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I should be good to go tomorrow based on how it's feeling now. But, yeah, I mean, still wake up and test it out. But my plan is to go tomorrow.
Anthony, probably tough to take too much from this game considering you left. Obviously, no LeBron, no Dennis, no THT. Where would you put the state of the team right now as you guys are still fighting through all these injuries at this point of the season?
It worked out, so I didn't really see much of the second half. But I think, I know the spirit in the locker room is still high. I mean, guys came in after the game and said, put it behind us. We got nothing to fall. So guys are still great with their minds and their spirit about, the rest of the season and obviously we're fighting for playoffs, and tomorrow's probably the biggest game after these games. So, guys are still optimistic, and we're still fighting. And guys' spirits are still high.
Okay, Dave McMenamin, please.
AD, considering you just called tomorrow's game the biggest game, will that factor into your decision making as you evaluate the back tomorrow, even if it doesn't maybe feel 100%? Would you feel compelled because of the circumstances of the game to give it a go?
Yeah, I mean, we do have a day off the next day. So I'm still to get work done there, but that for sure, I think, add a little juice to playing tomorrow.
Okay, Dan Wojcicki, please.
Yeah, on the play that at the very beginning when you it seemed like you kind of like hit the scorer's table. Is that what happened on that play? And like your foot kind of went out from underneath you? And then was there a play or anything that kind of caused the back to lock up?
Yeah, I mean, I think I said it before the game too. I said that the scorer's table looked like it was really close to the court, and then I ended up stepping on the scorer's table and kind of tweaked the ankle a little bit, but the ankle was fine. I have no problem with the ankle. Kind of caught it before it turned all the way. I know it kind of looked bad, but it's fine. And there was no certain play. During the timeouts, the first timeout, the second timeout, I kind of just, felt it, locking up more and more and more. And then eventually, when I came out, I think around the 3-minute mark in the first quarter, got to the point where it was pretty tough. So, like I said, it feels better now. Got some work done and should be able to go tomorrow.
Okay, Kyle Goon, please.
Hey, D. This season has had so many moments where you guys have some kind of setback when it seems like you're getting your ducks in a row, and maybe this game is one of those with your back locking up. How do you keep all those setbacks from adding up in your mind and feeling like it's just insurmountable?
Just keep fighting. I mean, we know when we're all healthy, the type of team that we have, we've seen it early in the year, and that's what we always revert back to. Like when we're 100% healthy, we're one of the, we are the top team in the league, and so we keep that in our minds. And so we know that we got a lot of things going on with some of our players, and guys know that. But we know when we get 100% healthy, Brian maybe has a week, Dennis 5-6 days left or something. But when we get everyone healthy healthy, especially heading to the playoffs. We know the type of team that we are, and I think the league knows the type of team that we are. So, no matter if we got to play in a play-in game or, we get, fifth or sixth seed, we ready to compete against anybody. But our main focus we have to get 100% of.
Okay, last two questions. Bill Oram, please.
Hey, AD, I was going to ask you about that play-in. How do you view that possibility, you guys, to stay out of it?
So what play?
Oh, sorry, the play-in round, yeah, whatever it is.
We don't look at it as something bad. We need a lot of games. We need games to get back accustomed to each other anyway. So, if it happens that way, it happens that way. Obviously we don't want to go that route, but if it happens, it happens. We're going to win games in the play-in and then get ready for whoever we play, first round and take care of business from there. So, look at it, we look at it as game reps in the play-in, and if not, then we got, a little bit more practice time to get accustomed to each other. So either way, we're fine either way. Like I said, we know the type of team that we are.
Last question, Mike Trudell.
Hey, Anthony, you, of course, weren't on the court for very long tonight, but just wondering, without LeBron, Schroeder, and THT, what do you think is it going to be a key tomorrow, given what the lineup is and kind of that lack of playmaking? How can you guys try to continue to get good shots?
Our defense. I got to go back and look at the tape for tonight. Seeing that I missed most of the game and didn't really see some of it. But I think our defense, we defend and rebound, and we're going to get shots. And even if we're not making shots, we're still able to, defend and hold teams below their average. So we got to continue to defend, being that, that defensive team that is very tenacious and scrappy, and play desperate like we did against Denver. And if we do that, starting tomorrow night, and for the rest of the X amount of games that we have, we'll find ourselves in a good position heading to the playoffs.
All right, thanks so much, Anthony. Last question, Mike Trudell.
Hey, Anthony, you, of course, weren't on the court for very long tonight, but just wondering, without LeBron, Schroeder, and THT, what do you think is it going to be a key tomorrow, given what the lineup is and kind of that lack of playmaking? How can you guys try to continue to get good shots?
Our defense. I got to go back and look at the tape for tonight. Seeing that I missed most of the game and didn't really see some of it. But I think our defense, we defend and rebound, and we're going to get shots. And even if we're not making shots, we're still able to, defend and hold teams below their average. So we got to continue to defend, being that, that defensive team that is very tenacious and scrappy, and play desperate like we did against Denver. And if we do that, starting tomorrow night, and for the rest of the X amount of games that we have, we'll find ourselves in a good position heading to the playoffs.